百忙之中来参加我们这个座谈会。
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. First of all, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule this Saturday morning to join this workshop with us.
我们今天非常的高兴，我们请到了财务专家，他要来为我们讲解为什么我们在人生旅途之中，我们的投资的这个组合，我们为什么应该加入一些这种固定的产品、固定的投资，有保证的，来增加你的投资的回报率，同时呢，会减少你人生的风险。
We're really excited to have an expert here, Mark Jansen, to come speak with us today. We're going to be talking about how to diversify your portfolio, how to save for retirement and protect your family all at the same time. And at the same time, we're talking about how to increase your rate of return and decrease your risk.
而且我今天非常高兴，我要宣布啊，就是我的儿子 Benjamin， 他正式的加入165年的大公司纽约人寿保险公司啊，我们将会成为一个非常坚强的团队。要记得哦，我是不会退休的哦，我是继续做的啊。
So what she's saying is she's excited for that her smart, handsome, and charming son Ben is joining New York Life. So we're very excited to team up together so that we can provide you excellent service for many, many years to come, unparalleled service for each and every one of you.
Yes, that's right. That's right. 好，那我现在呢 ？Okay, it's your turn, Ben. You say a few words for us, then we introduce Mark.
Great, thanks,
okay,
Bob.
Thank you.
So as we mentioned before, I just joined New York Life a couple of months ago, but what she didn't tell you was how it happened. She tricked me. She tricked me. So back in March of 2010, she goes, you know, Ben, New York Life is holding a conference in Las Vegas. Why don't you come? You know, I'll pay for your flight. I'll pay for your room at the Wynn. I'll even pay for your meals. All you have to do is attend one meeting a day on top of the dinners. And I said, when are we going? All right. Little did I know she had something planned up her sleeve. So at these meetings, someone new would approach me all the time and say, hey, aren't you Karina's son? I said, yes. And then we would start talking, and all of a sudden it would eventually lead to, what? You haven't joined New York Life? Why haven't you chosen the best decision in your career? What's wrong with you? These are all the questions I would get. And so, long story short, here I am, and it's been the best decision that I've ever made for my career. I only regret not doing it sooner. So, Mom, you're always right. And now we have it on video. So, thanks, Mom. With that being said, we have a great agenda today. Today's going to be a great time of food, fun, and free stuff. But more importantly, it's going to be a great time for you guys to learn and continue growing and learning about your financial future. That being said, we have Mark Jansen with us today. Mark Jansen is a JD, CPA, CLU, and CHFC. You can tell me what all these letters mean.
I know CPA.
What does CPA mean? Certified Public Accountant. What does JD mean? Juris Doctor. What is a Juris Doctor?
Law degree.
Law degree. Okay. What about CLU? This is a little bit harder.
Chartered Life Underwriter.
Chartered Life Underwriter.
Okay. Chartered Life Underwriter, and then CHFC. Anyone know what CHFC means?
Financial consultant.
Chartered Financial Consultant. So.
It's a chef of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
No, it's not a chef of Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's not it. That's not it. So what does this mean? It means Mark is a smart man. So make sure when he's talking that you listen to him and that you give him your undivided attention. Mark has had more than 23 years in the financial services industry. He has worked as an advanced market and estate planning specialist for Minnesota Life, Canada Life, Lincoln Financial, American General, and finally, the company you keep, New York Life. That's right, that's right. So please join me in welcoming Mark Jansen.
Thank you, everybody. Pleasure to be here. This is on, right? Everybody can hear me? Good. Today we want to talk about investment strategies. And what I want to talk about is how you need to change your thinking a little bit. How you need to look at options that you may not have looked at in the past. and also to try and help you set expectations in the future, because the world has changed over the last 3 years. What's happened in the last 3 years? What are some of the things you realize that have happened over the last 3 years? What happened to the market? How much did the market lose at the worst point? How much did the market lose at the worst point in the last 3 years?
Housing.
45%, about 47.5% is what the market lost at its worst point in time. That erased about 20 to 25 years of gains in the market. We went backwards 20, 25 years in about 6 months. That's volatility. Now, was it just the U.S. market that had that problem?
Global.
It's global. It's very clear we're becoming a global economy, and what impacts the United States impacts China, impacts Europe, impacts every country. So we have to look at things from a global perspective. So when you look for things from a global perspective, you also look at things like bonds compared to stocks. So in the last 3 years, if you said, boy, I'm scared of the market, and you went to bonds, what happened? Where did interest rates go? Down. Haven't they been going down over the last 3 years? In fact, interest rates have been going down over how many years? Can I guess?
10 years.
10. At least 10. The bonds have been going down in interest for 10 years. So what happens is when you try to reinvest, you keep getting a lower rate of return. So as an investor, you come to this point, you go, what do I do? I tried to go in the market and I lost 45%. I went over to bonds and they keep dropping in interest. So now where do I go? What do I need to do to make things more secure in the future? And one of the things you need to look for, which is really, I think, the thing that we've learned most from this last market cycle, is you need to look for a place for safe money. Every person, no matter how old, no matter how young, needs to find something that they can call safe money and put it into their portfolio. Used to be people would have what's called an emergency fund, and they would actually say, I'm using my credit cards for my emergency fund because I can go access the cash. What happened to credit card interest rates? They all went up. Also, your minimum payments went up. And the ability of the credit card companies to change the rules in the middle of the game went there. So a lot of people started thinking they had a certain path, and it changed on them. So what you need to do is have a financial vehicle that you can control, that you can count on to give you certain things. Now, if we define safe money, first thing we want to make sure is it's not subject to market fluctuations. By definition, safe money means I'm not afraid of what the market's doing because this doesn't operate within the market parameters. So that's the first rule for safe money. Second thing, kind of similar to that, is you don't want to have downside risk. If I own a bond and interest rates go up, what happens to the value of that bond? The value of the bond goes down because somebody who wants to buy my bond says, well, I can go buy a bond that has a higher rate of return. So in order for your bond to be valuable to me, you need to drop the price so I can make just as much money on your bond than I can on the bonds I can buy from anybody else. So when interest rates go up, bond prices go down. So even bonds are subject to market fluctuations, and they have downside risk. So bonds have downside risk even though they're considered fairly safe money. So you have to be careful about bonds. The other thing is money has to be accessible. If I put money in a 5-year CD, is it accessible? No. I can get to it, but I have to pay a penalty. If I put money in an annuity, is it accessible?
No.
No.
No. I can get to it, but I have to again pay a surrender charge. Also, depending on what's happening, if it's in the market, the value of that annuity could be down, and I'm trying to access it. In fact, one of the worst things that happened over the last 3 years, and I've seen it with multiple consumers, is they got scared of the market. And at the very bottom of the market, they sold everything they had in the market and went over to bonds. In fact, they actually didn't go over to bonds, they went over to money market accounts. What are money market accounts earning right now? Less than 1%.
0.5.
The average money market account is earning less than 1%. So, and then what happened to the market? At its bottom, where was the market? Where was the market at its bottom? About 7,500 points, right? Now what's it at? 11,000. So we've had a great big run up. So those people that got scared missed the opportunity to participate in the market. So part of safe money is to make sure you feel secure in staying